The Department of Justice is opening a criminal investigation into former New York Governor Andrew Cuomo over his handling of the COVID-19 pandemic. Plus, concert-goers who attended Shakira's show at MetLife Stadium last week may have been exposed to measles. And the first ever dog park on a NYCHA property is now open at the Castle Hill Houses in the Bronx. From WNYC, this is NYC Now. I'm Janae Pierre. The Federal Department of Justice is opening a criminal investigation into former New York Governor Andrew Cuomo over his handling of the COVID-19 pandemic. That's according to the Associated Press, which cites a person familiar with the matter who spoke on the condition of anonymity because they were not authorized to discuss the investigation. The investigation comes just a month before the Democratic primary in New York, in which Cuomo is the frontrunner. A spokesperson for Cuomo says the former governor was never informed of any investigation and calls it election interference. Health officials in New Jersey say that concert-goers who attended Shakira's show at MetLife Stadium last Thursday may have been exposed to measles. According to New Jersey's health department, someone attended the concert while infectious. Anyone who was there between 7:30 p.m. and 1 a.m. should monitor for symptoms like fever, rash, and cough through June 6th and check their vaccination status. Because measles is highly contagious, officials advise anyone who's feeling sick to call the doctor's office first rather than simply showing up. Democrats will keep control over a state Senate district in southern Brooklyn after a special election Tuesday. Sam Sutton will represent the 22nd district after besting Republican opponent Nachman Caller. He replaces Simcha Felder, who left the seat vacant earlier this year after being elected to the city council. The district is heavily Orthodox, with twice as many registered Democrats as Republicans. But local Republicans had hoped to make headway with voters, who sometimes cross party lines. Most recently, the district swung for Donald Trump in the 2024 presidential election. Coming up after the break, an old ship gets a new home. Stick around. NYC. 15 years ago, workers at the World Trade Center site made the discovery of a lifetime. They uncovered a ship deep in the muck that dates back to the Revolutionary War. Now, that ship is finally getting a permanent home. But WNYC's John Campbell reports part of its journey remains a mystery.
A handful of workers are standing at a table in the New York State Museum in Albany. They're in the corner of a big, empty exhibit space, and they're surrounded by planks of old, brown wood. One worker grabs a steamer and sprays some of the timber down. Another uses a Q-tip to carefully clean the muck out of every nook and cranny. On the other side of the room, Angela Paola uses a handheld tool to grind away at a piece of foam.
We're currently just trying to get the platform for the keel leveled out.
That's the structural backbone of a ship.
So once the keel is all level, we can actually start building the boat out from there.
She's talking about what's become known as the World Trade Center ship, a wooden boat found 22 feet below the surface at Ground Zero. It's been the talk of archaeologists since its discovery made national news in 2010.
Construction workers digging at the old site of the World Trade Center at Ground Zero here in Manhattan yesterday unearthed a boat encased in mud believed to date back to the 1700s.
Since then, researchers have worked tirelessly to piece together its story. They analyzed rings in the wood grain to figure out it was likely built in Philadelphia in the 1770s, right around the Revolutionary War. And they know it was long buried by 1818, since that part of the Manhattan shoreline had expanded into the Hudson River by then. But there's still a lot they don't know. What's the biggest unanswered question that you still have about this?
That button. The button is the one. How did it get into the boat?
That's Dr. Peter Fix, a research scientist at Texas A&M who's reconstructing the ship. He's talking about a small pewter button found in the boat inscribed with the number 52. He remembers chatting about it years ago with the museum curator.
And he said, well, we have this button. And the button is for a British regiment, 52nd of Foot. How did that get in there? Then that piqued my brain.
That's about when researchers realized the boat was probably a gunship made for war, not a sloop or a cargo ship like they first thought. And the evidence, that button, suggests the British captured it, but we don't know how or when or how it got to New York City. Scientists are still working on those questions. How much time do you spend thinking about that button?
Probably too much.
Dr. Fix and a team of grad students have temporarily relocated to Albany. They're getting help from some state workers, too. For the next several weeks, they'll be reconstructing the remnants of the boat for a permanent exhibit in the New York State Museum, a short walk from the Capitol. Michael Lucas is the museum's historical archaeology curator. He says the public's invited to watch it all happen and ask questions of the people doing the work.
It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. You're not going to have an opportunity to see a 18th century ship being constructed probably again in your life.
State officials tried to find a home for the boat near the Ground Zero site, but they struggled to find a museum that had the space for it. The ship was likely about 50 feet long, but some of it was destroyed when the old World Trade Center was built in the 60s. Workers were able to save about 30 feet of the boat, and that's what'll be on display in Albany. Alyssa Carpenter is a recent grad who's part of the Texas A&M team.
Our plan is to finish by the end of June. The whole thing reassembled and constructed. So that's our timeline. That's our goal.
Once the boat is reassembled, the museum plans to make it the centerpiece of a planned exhibit on the Revolutionary War. The goal is to have it all ready for the 250th anniversary in 2026.
That's WNYC's John Campbell. The first ever dog park on a NYCHA property is now open at the Castle Hill Houses in the Bronx. WNYC's Catalina Gonella reports it's already helping to build a sense of community.
Jose Carrion is sitting, watching his pit bull Duke run around off-leash.
This will be my third time. I like it, and not only that, he likes it.
The dog park opened less than a week ago, and already Carrion and Duke are regulars. He says pit bulls are popular at Castle Hill, but owners have been guarded when walking past each other with their pups. Now that's beginning to change.
It takes a dog park to get people together for them to talk and communicate. All of a sudden, everybody knows each other's name. It's crazy.
There's separate gated spaces for small and large dogs, space to run, turf mounds, and doggy water fountains. Carrion is one of the more than 800 residents who voted on the project. It's part of an initiative led by the Public Housing Community Fund to create open spaces at 4 NYCHA developments in the Bronx and Brooklyn. The Green Space Connections program allows residents to choose what they want. Here, it was a dog park.
It's a safe space for the dogs. There's no better way to put it.
Over at the small dog section, it's Tunisia Losey's first time visiting. Her Frenchie Callie and her Shih Tzu Elon run freely off-leash, something she would never let them do in the public housing complex's other open spaces. The facility is primarily for dogs, but Losey says she sees the benefit it's bringing residents.
It's a safe space. People get to know each other more. The dogs get to be comfortable around each other and know each other versus, always seeing each other. And it's like they always have attention. It's more comfortable, Yeah, this is something that'll definitely bring people together.
The next Green Space Connections project will open next month at the Patterson Houses in the South Bronx. There, residents voted for a new playground and an outdoor adult fitness center.
That's WNYC's Catalina Gonella. Thanks for listening to NYC Now from WNYC. I'm Janae Pierre. We'll be back tomorrow.